Aiming. It's the skill that separates casual gamers from the elite. Not everyone has endless hours to grind and get better, but that's where I come in. I will be aim training for 30 days straight while juggling a full-time job as a corporate slave, my personal life, and everything in between to show you that it is possible to get to the same level as the pros in just 1 month. I will be using AimLabs and the Voltaic benchmarks to see how much I can progress in 30 days. I've got limited time, but unlimited determination. To start off this challenge, we'll have to do the Voltaic benchmarks. Wait, what is Voltaic? Let me explain very briefly so that the ADHD community does not get bored. Voltaic is an aim training community that focuses on helping gamers improve their aim. They provide aiming guides and routines and also benchmarks. These are used to help players gauge where they're at right now in terms of their aim, which in turn also leaves you with a Voltaic rank. Okay, with all that yappa out of the way, we can finally get started. So I started off doing the Season 2 Novice Benchmark in AimLabs, and that landed me in gold. Quick pause again. Just for full transparency, I have aim trained before in the past and have a total of 92.5 hours in aim trainers. However, I was never consistent, and all of these hours were accumulated over a time span of 2 years, with the first time I ever launched an aim trainer being in September 2022. But it's still important for me to just get that out of the way. So we started off pretty good in AimLabs, and I had some alright aim in Apex, but there's plenty of room for improvement. There's some overall shakiness in my aim, and I feel like I overcorrect my aim in certain scenarios, so I hope that we can improve that over the next 30 days. Day 2 rolls around and I've decided to do a different aim routine, the Apex Enhanced Novice Voltaic routine. Since my main game right now is Apex Legends, I feel like I would benefit from a more tracking heavy routine. This routine has some diagonal tracking, overhead tracking, close fast tracking, and more. Overall, the aim training went really well. I feel like the novice routine is way too easy for me, so I was hopeful going into Apex. But it went terrible. The aim was not aiming. I feel like I was playing as if I had 4 toes instead of fingers, and after 30 minutes, I had to just quit and sulk in bed. See, I could blame it on the fact that my aim just isn't that great, but obviously, the real problem is that I was just really tired from the long office day that I had that day. Surely. The rest of the week was mostly AimLabs since I didn't have much time to play Apex. On day 5 I hit gold complete, and on day 7 I honestly started seeing slight improvements. My aim felt steadier and I felt more confident in my aim, but little did I know that this was a small peak before things started getting real rough. The theme of week 2 is just fatigue. On day 8, I aim trained for 30 minutes at 11:30 PM, which was all I could manage since I had work the next day. On day 9, I made up for that time and aim trained for 3 hours straight, which was really tiring on my arms and fingers. I realized that for the past 9 days, I've only been doing the benchmark routine and the Apex Novice and Intermediate Enhanced routines, and I feel like that's just not gonna cut it if I want to improve as fast as possible and reach a higher rank on the Voltaic leaderboard. So I'm going to switch it up and add the following 2 routines: the Voltaic Fundamental routines and the Voltaic Daily Improvement Method, or VDIM in short. The Fundamental routine includes clicking, tracking, and switching, and it's basically a general routine so I can still train everything each single day. The VDIM, however, consists of 6 different playlists, with each playlist focusing on different aiming techniques. This way you can isolate specific subcategories each day of the week to build proper technique. There's a lot of positive feedback on this routine, so I'm excited to try it out and I hope this will bring me the best results. Day 9 left me with some positivity and a bit of delusion, so I set a goal for myself: to be Voltaic Diamond by the end of this month. Now, to actually reach this goal, it would mean to put in more time into doing the new routines. And since I was feeling good and positive, I thought for sure that I could do that. But I was wrong. Yet again. The following 5 days I could barely put in the time to aim train. I did 30 minutes on day 10, 20 minutes at day 11 past 1 AM, 45 minutes on day 12 at 1:30 a.m., and the fatigue was really catching up to me. I was sleeping around 2 a.m. every day when I had work the next day, and I was feeling less and less motivated. And because I had so little time, I couldn't even play Apex to really see if I was making any progress in-game. Because sure, I was achieving high scores in AimLabs and feeling progress there, but what matters to me is that it translates to progress in-game. I just needed a good day. And thankfully, day 15 came in clutch and delivered. I had a full day to myself with time and energy lined up to do a full aim routine for an hour and a half. I was making some really good progress. I was hitting multiple high scores, so I was feeling really good. With Monday looming around the corner and the knowledge that things were about to get harder, I figured that surely the last few days were just a low point, and it will get better. Unfortunately, I was wrong. Yet again. Damn, I'm wrong quite a lot, and they say women can't admit when they're wrong? Come on, man. With half of the challenge in the rear view, day 16 brought with it the usual challenge, since it was a Monday after all, and I was just 30 minutes shy of losing my daily AimLabs streak at 1:30 a.m. Still, I pushed through 45 minutes of aiming and showed up at work the next day, tired as caca, just to do the same at the end of day 17. And then things finally started to look up on day 18. After days of squeezing in whatever time I could, it felt really good to be able to commit to a full routine. And on day 19, the unthinkable happened. I was beyond tired. I had a long day at work, and by the time I could start aim training, it was past midnight. I decided to do the benchmarks that day, and I was doing bad on tasks that I'm usually good at, so I wasn't too positive about my scores. But then I looked up the intermediate high scores, and I saw diamond. I mean, look at me wiggling my cursor, man. I was happy. Yep. Thank you guys, thank you. Oh, stop it. Anyways, I can't believe that despite all the days of being tired all the damn time, having so little time to fully commit every day, I still hit my goal of diamond. Now, just because I hit my original goal a whole 11 days before the deadline, an improvement seeker like me couldn't hit the brakes now. So I had to set my next goal, diamond complete. Wanting to keep the good streak going, I trained for well over 2 hours on day 20. I started with the VDIM static routine, and then I focused on my lowest scoring benchmark tasks while tweaking my sensitivity along the way. The result of that? Multiple new high scores and a couple of Jade rankings as well. You might be wondering why I would start changing my sensitivity, and I'd love to say that it's all from the confidence of hitting our goal early, but no. My arm and especially my elbow was really starting to feel the strain from the challenge. That, plus I've noticed some inconsistencies in my aim that I wanted to iron out. And finally, after all those days, I finally got some quality time in Apex. A whole 4 hours of it. And honestly, I'm feeling that my aim's becoming more consistent. The following days, I kept focusing on my weak spots. I was really switching up my sensitivity a lot on some of these routines and playing on a higher sensitivity than I was used to, because frankly at this point, my arm feels wrecked. Fun fact, the VDIM tasks also double as benchmark practice, so when I did the routine on day 24 and checked if I had ranked up, I did. I hit diamond complete. And at this point, I wanted to just set a very crazy goal with just 1 week to go, and that was Jade complete. But on day 25, I hit Jade. Just like that. It wasn't too shocking considering the recent high scores, but I was expecting to plateau at some point during this challenge, and that hasn't really happened so far. I really wanted to hit my next goal, so I pushed myself and tried to train as much as possible. On day 27, I had a full 5 hours of training, focusing on my weak points like evasive and speed switching, precise tracking, and some static. It was intense and tiring, but the urge to push myself as far as I could was even greater. On day 28, I kept it going with 2 hours of aim training and almost as much time in Apex after that. I really do feel an improvement at this point. Like, I don't find myself whiffing as much as I used to, and the training has just given me an extra boost of confidence. On day 29, I was running on just 3 hours of sleep. I still squeezed in 30 minutes of training, hit high scores on nearly every speed switching scenario, and then faced an old nemesis of mine, arc switch intermediate. After a few focus attempts, I smashed my previous high score, and just like that, Jade complete was mine. I could stop here and take it easy for the last day, but I simply could not do that. On the final day, I spent 5 hours of non-stop aim training. So tired, but determined to not waste a single second of my day. Fatigue was hitting me so bad. My elbow was aching, but I pushed through. Task after task after task. I fought for every high score. And it wasn't easy, but nothing about the last month had been easy. But when the final score was there and I checked the leaderboard, there it was. Master. In 30 days time. I crawled into bed at 3:30 a.m. and completed the challenge with a smile on my face. I was exhausted, but more than a little triumphant. Looking back on these 30 days, it's easy to get lost in the details. The countless hours spent aim training, the late nights, the fatigue, the rush of breakthroughs. And quite frankly, the journey has only just gotten started. In the last 30 days, I've spent almost 40 hours on AimLabs and almost 15 hours on Apex. I want to continue to improve and get better, so I'll have to make sure I still train consistently to keep on improving. Just because I hit Master on Voltaic doesn't mean I'm now this crazy aim prodigy. I still miss shots, I still lose some 1v1s, but it's exciting to know that with some grit, even people juggling a full-time job and other personal responsibilities can see results. You don't have to be a sweaty 12-year-old to aim train consistently. I mean, I'm 27 years old and about to hit the retirement home, so if my old ass can do it, then so can you. If you decide to start your aim training journey, I have a few tips for you. First of all, stop overthinking your sensitivity. I read so much BS on the internet about how you have to stick with one sensitivity because otherwise you lose all your progress. Honestly, it's not as important as you think, and I think it's actually beneficial for your progress to switch up your sense from time to time, especially when you've hit a plateau. Because you want to overcome that plateau, right? So what are you gonna do? Continue doing the exact same thing and wishing that some higher power will swoop in and give you that magic juice to overcome it? No, you have to change something, whether it's your sense or taking a different approach on your training or whatever that may be. And also, are players with ridiculously good aim all of a sudden gonna be trash if they drastically switch up their aim? No. Sure, they might have to warm up for a little bit, but they will most likely do just as well on their usual sense because they just have good mouse control. Now obviously I'm not telling you to change your sense every single day on your main game and go from super high to super low. I'm just saying that when training your aim, it can't hurt to switch up sometimes. Just challenge yourself. And if you want to know more about why changing your sense isn't a bad thing, I highly recommend watching this video by Viscos. My second tip is to try out different mouse grips. Try to aim with just your fingertips, or your whole arm, or only your wrist. This obviously also depends on your sense. Like if you train on a very low sense, then using only your fingertips will be absolutely miserable. But again, just experiment and challenge yourself. And lastly, maybe an obvious one, but in-game application is important. If you want to have good aim because you want to apply that in your favorite game, then make sure to actually play your game. Every game has its own aiming mechanics, and you want to use what you learned during your aim training to get better. To wrap it up, let's answer the question. Can you get good aim in 30 days? Well, good is highly subjective, but my biggest takeaway is that with consistency, anything is possible.